Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. So in today's video, we are going to understand how to create Notion item for Microsoft To-Do task. So here my objective is that whenever I am going to create a new task in my Microsoft To-Do account, then automatically an item should be created in my Notion database. So now to do this, I need to build a connection between these two applications, for which I am going to use Pabbly Connect. So Pabbly Connect follows the concept of trigger and action. So here to do this, my trigger application will be Microsoft To-Do and my action application will be Notion. So if you want to learn more about this, follow me through the screen. In this video, we are going to understand how to create Notion item for Microsoft To-Do task. So here my objective is that whenever I'm going to add a new task in my Microsoft To-Do account, then automatically an item should be created in my Notion database. So now to automate this entire process, I'm going to use Pabbly Connect, and as an existing user, I'm going to sign in. But if you're a new user, you can click on the sign up for free button and every month you will get 100 tasks for free. So as an existing user, I'm signing in. Now this here is the all applications page by Pabbly Connect. So to reach my dashboard, here I'm going to click on access now. In the meanwhile, subscribe to our channel. So this here is my dashboard, and now in order to create a new workflow, I will go to my right hand side corner and click on this create workflow button. So now in this dialog box appearing, I'm going to give my workflow a name. So here I've named it as create Notion item for Microsoft To Do task, and on my left hand side you can see that these are the folders which I have created before. So I want to save this workflow in the folder named as Microsoft To Do to Notion automation, because this is the automation between Microsoft To Do and Notion, and here I'm going to click on create. So as I did that, now I have arrived on a very important window which consists of trigger and action. Basically, trigger and action are the two most important principles or concepts of Pabbly Connect on which this entire automation will depend. Trigger says when this happens, action says do this. Action is an automated response of a trigger application, and in a workflow we can only have one trigger but multiple action applications. So now moving to my use case, that is to create Notion item for Microsoft To Do task. So now to automate this entire process, I will go to my trigger window, and here I'm going to search Microsoft To Do as my trigger application, and here it is. And the trigger event will be new task. So this trigger will start working whenever a new task will be created. Now moving to my action window, as I want to create an item in my Notion database, so here Notion will be my action application, and the action event will be to create a database item. So here as you can see that I have selected my action application and the action event along with my trigger application and the trigger event. So my objective is to create Notion item for Microsoft To Do task. So firstly, I need to establish a connection between my Microsoft To Do account and Pabbly Connect. So here I'm going to click on connect. And in order to add a new connection, I will simply click on connect with Microsoft To Do because I've opened in one of the tabs. So here I'm going to click on connect. Here I'm going to click on accept as this is a secure access, and the authorization is successful. So here you can see that Microsoft To Do and Pabbly Connect is connected. So now moving to the list part. So over here in Microsoft To Do, these two are the lists that I've created by the name of flagged, email and task. So over here in Pabbly Connect, I'm going to select the list as task. So here I've selected my list as task. So as I'm going to click on the save and send test request button, over here in Pabbly Connect, the most recent task which would have been created in Microsoft To Do will get captured. So over here, our trigger application is a polling based one. So this trigger will check for new data in every 8 hours. So in Microsoft To Do, I'm going to add a new task. So here I'm going to add a new task, and this will be the task name, that is social media marketing idea discussion. So here I'm going to give a due date that will be for tomorrow. So tomorrow is 15th. So here I'm going to pick a date that is for 15th, and now I'm going to click on save. So here I've added this task, and over here I'm going to add a note as well. So over here you can see that in Microsoft To Do, I've successfully created a new task. So in Pabbly Connect, I'm going to click on the save and send test request button. And as of now, I'm setting up this automation. So here I will get the most recent task which I've created in Microsoft To Do. So I'm going to click on save and send test request. So here in Pabbly Connect, I've received a response. So this here is the title. This here is the status that is not started. Scrolling down to the other details. Here is the note description. And over here is the date and time. So over here, if you would have noticed, you can see that the date over here that is mentioned for the due date is 14th of Feb. But over here in Microsoft To Do, we have selected the date for 15th, that is tomorrow. So now to get the exact date, here I'm going to click on this add action step and I'm going to use date time formatter by Pabbly. So here I'm going to search for date time formatter by Pabbly. So date time formatter by Pabbly will help me to format the date with time zone. So I'm going to click on connect. And over here, I'm going to map the date from the response which we have received. So basically mapping means to insert the data from previous step. So as I've received the response from Microsoft To Do, so here I have mapped the date. So this here is the from format of the date which you can match it exactly. So over here I've mentioned the date and here's the from format. Now for to format, I'm going to take you to my next action step, that is to create database item in Notion. So I'm going to click on connect. And now in order to add a new connection, I'm going to click on connect with Notion. So over here, I'm going to click on allow access as this is a secure access. And the authorization is successful. So here you can see that Notion and Pabbly Connect is connected. So here you can read the important note that is given for the date and time. So over here that means we have to follow the exact format. So that is why while we are selecting our to format, so here we are going to follow the same format that is given us in Notion. So this here is the same format that is Notion is asking for. So here's the from format, here is the to format. And now moving to the from time zone, as we have got the response in UTC time zone over here. So here I'm going to select it as ETC UTC and here two time zone will be Asia and Kolkata because I'm in India. So here I've selected the two time zone. So now I'm going to click on save and send test request. So here in the response, we have received the date which was 15th of Feb and this here is the time. So I want that the time should be of 12 p.m. So in order to do that, firstly, I'm going to extract this date. So now in order to get the date separated, so here I'm going to use text formatter by Pabbly. So text formatter by Pabbly will help me to split the text. So here I'm going to click on connect and here from the response received, I'm going to map the date. So over here I've mentioned that and here T will be the separator. So now I'm going to click on save because the segment index will be first. I want the date only. So over here you can see that in the response received, I have got the date separated. So now moving to my action step of Notion. So as we've already built a connection with Notion, so over here, I'm going to select my database. So here in Pabbly Connect, I am going to select it. Once that is done, now moving to the date description and the task title part. So over here from the response received, I'm going to map the date. So over here, I have mapped the date and I want that the due timing should be of 12 p.m. So this will be the format of that. Now moving to the description part. So again from the response received, I'm going to map it. So basically mapping means to insert the data from previous step. So as I've received the response from Microsoft To Do, so here I'm going to map it. So as you can see that I have mapped the details in these fields. This method of mapping is important so that every time I'm going to receive a new response, so that response could be taken into consideration in these fields. If I would have written this information manually, in that case, this information could have become static, which means that it wouldn't change even if I would have received a new response. So to avoid that problem, we map the information. So as I've mapped the details, now I'm going to click on save and send test request. So here you can see that I have received the response and this is a positive response. That means an item would have been successfully created in my Notion database. So now I'm going to take you to my Notion database. So over here you can see that here is the task title, here is the date along with the timing and this here is the description. So that means successfully over here in my Notion database, an item is created from Microsoft To Do task. So this automation is a successful one. That means now whenever I'm going to create a task in my Microsoft To Do account, then automatically an item will be created in my Notion database. Not just these applications, you can integrate a lot more applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. So if you have any doubts regarding Pabbly, reach us at support@pabbly.com, and if you have any queries, you can visit us at forum.pabbly.com. If you have any pricing related query, you can visit this link. So if you like this video, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and do not forget to like, share and subscribe our channel.